stuff. This is not all.
Yeah.
This is all not Pokemon Snap. What's wrong with these people?
So I don't watch enough, but like the way you discover all these little animals and creatures, it's almost like you're collecting the stars in Super Mario. I don't know. I really
I feel like he could just be listening to Lady Gaga in his headphones and not telling us.
It's a great album. It's a great freaking album, Keith. Don't you dare rip on that. That's a great album.
No, we're officially live, and hopefully I didn't blow everybody's eardrums out because the music was a little loud this time.
It was a little loud. Holy cow.
Right, where's Twitter? Let's retweet this. I nearly said something rude that would put us back on YouTube's algorithm.
Did you do something new, Burkoff? Like I'm not seeping through into the background.
You are not. I'm constantly upgrading my OBS skills, and I figured out a way to make sure that people didn't fade into the background.
Dang, I should have like turned off all my lights so I look like a beast in the night, even though it's morning.
Yeah.
Right. On that note. Good morning, everybody. Good evening, good night, depending on where you are in the world. We are Pixel Pints. We are the only global gaming podcast that talks about two things that we enjoy. That's good beer and video games. We're not here to promote drinking. Please drink responsibly. Any beers or breweries might as well do the old bit as well. Any beers or breweries we're talking about aren't sponsoring us, but if you fancy throwing us some free beers, we'd probably work for that. You'd have a few different places to have to ship them in the world, but
I've got a story about that to mention.
Okay, we'll get to the story in a second then. If you're following us, thank you for following us. If you're not following us, you can follow us on YouTube at Pixel Pints. You can follow us on social media at Pixel_Pints on Twitter or Pixel Pints Pod on Instagram, where Evan gloats about how many likes he gets. And then he can gloat about how he's got more PlayStation trophy level trophies than all of the rest of us. That we'll get into that. What's the fucking point? Ah, damn it! Just ruin the YouTube algorithm thing.
You're never going to be successful.
Only 2 minutes in.
Going to beer. I'll talk about my beer first, and then talk about the fun idea of shipping beer. I'm drinking Lupaloid Beavertown IPA today. It's very delicious. I haven't drank it before, actually. I've drank quite a lot of their beer, but I don't think I've had this before. So I had a few sips. But so far, it's it's strong. It's 2.2 units. So that would tell you.
I think 6.7, 6.8% ABV.
Yeah, 6.7%. Quite nice, though. I don't think it has any distinctive flavors about it. It's just quite a strong IPA, if that makes sense. Like other ones, you like pick up on some flavors. It's just quite beery. Like the other ones have more distinctive flavors. So I think they've just gone for strength over flavor, perhaps. But no, it's not too bad. But when it comes to shipping beer, I got an email today saying that my shipping had arrived in their locations. And I assumed when we came on the podcast, Matt would have mentioned to me, had he received the beer? So, Matt, did you receive the beer?
I have not received any beer.
So the shipment is lost. I got a notification saying, your shipping has been delivered to its location. I need to check with Evan to see if it received in Japan as well. But so both were shipped off about 14 weeks ago. And they've now been said that they've been delivered, but have not. So I will be chasing up my delivery company later today.
It is very possible that it's sitting in a postal warehouse out here. So it may have arrived in Vegas, just hasn't arrived to my house.
Okay.
They need to inspect it for coronavirus.
Well, I think more
drink it
and
then not
drink it. And drink to inspect, and then they're like, "Here, you can have my half-drinking beer."
Well, I've heard that sending beer through the mail is subject to rampant fraud, so it's probably just gone into the fraud section of the beer delivery postal room.
They're hoping it like explodes and goes on your mail-in ballots, so that it's considered a fraud.
So I'm crossing my fingers, but it's not looking very
fraudulent beer.
Fraudulent beer.
So do let me
I'm-
know, Matt, but it's not looking too good so far.
Yeah, I will let you know.
That was Dan's update, by the way, because I didn't introduce Dan. He just wanted to get that off his chest.
Yeah.
Didn't wait for the introduction, just went straight for it.
No, it's
Keith,
okay.
how are
Because on
you
this
doing?
show, on this show, you need to get in when you can. I'm good, Dan. Thank you very much. I'm drinking something totally new, haven't seen before. I was out the other day and spent £34 on various different beers from around the world. One of which being Urbanaut Red IPA from New
Oh
Zealand.
wow! Oh wow!
For
Cool.
New,
Where'd you
for a
pick
New
that?
Zealand beer, it looks very
Where did you find
socialist.
that, Keith?
It's in a specialist beer shop in Kingston upon Thames, so not too far away from you.
Oh, awesome!
Very, very
Wow.
dark for a red ale.
Yes. Yeah, very dark, stout coloured almost.
Your glass almost looked like, because of the way it cuts off, that the foam was at the very, very tip top. So when you aimed it tilted your glass slightly. I was like, "He's spilling it."
It's happened before, not after this much beer though. Yeah, really malty, smooth, but with
Mote.
I don't get toffee. I do get caramel. I do get kind of roasted nut, and kind of like almost like a burnt wood smell. It's really quite pleasant.
Oh, that's good.
Nice. It's using both New Zealand and Canadian hops. So
Interesting.
Interesting.
very nice. I would recommend it if you can find it. Urbanaut. I'm going to look out for some of their other beers.
This. I like the can design.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's cool.
Because when I went into the shop, there's a big sign saying, "Please refrain from handling the goods," because they don't want people just going in and just picking up all the cans and bottles and putting them back. So I had to just go by labels, which can sometimes turn out well and sometimes turn out to be a complete disaster. Right, we'll go bottom right on my screen next. Michael, how's things?
Things are great. I'm finally joining you after a few episodes missed from the
Well,
frontier.
better you than someone from Essex.
Shots fired.
I don't care how big they are in India.
I love that bit, by the way.
Matt, how popular are we in?
Well, the Philippines,
don't-
we are doing amazing in that country. So
100% more viewers than Uzbekistan. Sorry, Michael. I stepped on how you were doing to make fun of someone, which is mean of me, but also funny. Mitch, you're pretending to be a Sith Lord right now.
I'm just really comfy. So like I mean I could take off my hood, but I'm just really, it's like that. Especially it's morning. It was 6:30 when I was up this morning, and so I just wanted to be comfy, and it's also like the coldest it's been here in a while. So like I actually can wear a sweatshirt and not feel like I'm sweating underneath.
I would have thought, with you being from Wisconsin, and then living in Minnesota for such a long time, you'd be telling all of these wusses from LA. It's like, this isn't weather.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Morons.
should. So when I first got here, I think it was like 60 degrees one day, which is like nothing. Like I've
that's
experienced.
April. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a brisk April.
Yeah.
And I like walk around in shorts and a sweatshirt, which is like casual for me in that kind of weather. And here everyone in LA is in like their winter coats, jeans. And I'm like, who are these people? They're just freaking wusses. And then when it's like 80 degrees outside, everyone's still in like pants and a t-shirt. And here I'm like in shorts and a shirt. And I'm like, it's hot. So I'm still getting used to the difference, but like I've had a couple weeks of hundreds, so I'm starting to get used to that, but it's exhausting. The heat's different in LA compared to Minnesota, because Minnesota you have humidity, so like you can't go in the shade and hide from it, like you still feel it, where here in LA you could just like go in a shaded area and feel pretty comfy. That's the only like difference. But then also like because you don't have the humidity, the sun is just like this giant heat condenser. So like right when you stand in it, you feel it poof, like hit you like a ton of bricks. So, but yeah, that's weather in two different crazy zones for you.
We're going to do a news episode this week, so we probably should have waited weather till the end. Saved weather till the end.
I'll pull up my weather reports for the week.
Yeah.
It's gonna be rainy here on the side with a little chill wind from Essex. So just like McWomble's gonna blow some wind towards OTAP. So just be careful at that wind there.
Yeah, more like hot air. Matt, how's things with you?
Not too bad. It's another day, another dollar.
Wait, another what?
I said another day, another dollar.
Oh, dollar. I thought you said a dog, and I was like, what the hell is that?
No. Yeah, not a whole lot going on here. I'm enjoying the temperature climbing back down. So we're finally in the 30s this week, as opposed to the 40s, and it's 18 right now. So it's
you did choose to live in a desert.
I did.
Also, for our world listeners, thank you for converting from American to the proper temperature of centigrade. I appreciate that.
I figure it's only a matter of time before we eventually convert to the metric system. So
we hopefully will someday, so I can learn it.
So I have it on my phone at all times so that I can make sure that I'm using
damn it!
the proper temperature.
I can't show it, but like on my phone and all my stuff, I usually do military time.
Yeah, 24-hour clock's the only way to go.
Well, that's also because I did medical stuff for my last job, so like I had to track everything with military time.
Yeah. So I confuse people at work by when they send out meeting invites for 1 o'clock. You mean 1300?
Yeah. Oh, so I have to convert it for the people that don't want to play that game.
Yeah. It's 24-hour clock's the only way to use a clock.
Yeah. Yep. Matt, the topic should have been, what is ... the topic?
Yeah, Matt, so your shit out.
Pull the Jeopardy.
What's the topic?
No, you pull a Jeopardy. You go, what is, and then ... You put the answer. The topic.
I don't know. I like yours, Matt.
Thanks.
Division.
He only says that because I kicked his ass in fantasy football.
It's not hard to be fair with my team.
It's not hard.
I'll tell you what, week 1 was fabulous for me, and then COVID-19 hit.
That's because he played me.
And a load of injuries hit, and now my team is royally fucked, and it's only week.
See with COVID-19 running rapid in the NFL, I am absolutely stunned. None of the teams that I have players in, except for one team, has been affected by COVID-19, and they were injured anyways.
Well, I mean, you're only out for what, 2 days? That's what happened with the president.
No, they moved. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, and
that's 2 days without a spray tan, Matt.
And
that's the worst thing of all.
And then he's also on an interview, and he's coughing during the interview, saying, "I feel great." I'm like, sure.
Spread that virus.
Well, he's gonna do an event soon. He wants to do an event, and I don't think the doctors are gonna be able to stop him. So, don't go. Well, please don't go.
If there's one thing that would stop people voting, it's a potentially fatal illness. No, that's probably not going to stop people. Rain. I've heard a bit of rain stops people from going outdoors, but potentially fatal virus. No, nothing to be sneezed at.
And you could be protected by wearing a piece of cloth on your face where you can breathe through just fine. But no, that's asking too much. That's too much.
Right. We don't do politics, obviously, on this podcast. Would anyone like to lead with a news story? Please raise your hand politely.
Wait, why do we have to raise our hand?
Because I thought talking over one another might be a bit rude, but then why change the habit of an entire show? Culture. Right, Michael, would you like to? I'll just pick someone. Fuck it.
Too bad. I already did it.
Okay, yeah.
Nope.
I think we should listen to Michael first.
Nope.
I think we should listen to Michael
I did
first.
it. I put the
Everything
trophies
that
really
Keith was trying
intrigued
to
to see what
avoid
Michael
is
has
just
to say.
happening.
I put the trophies on the screen, boy. You said anybody, so I put them on the screen. So let's
Michael,
talk about
would you
your
like to talk
upsetness.
about the PlayStation trophies?
Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about trophies.
Let's talk about platinums, baby. Let's talk about you.
There's not much to say about it. It's only that they expanded. They actually added 899 levels in between all the others, so that people can level up more often than they could do right now. Because like the number of points you need for each level grows exponentially from level to level. So past like level 15 or 17, like it can, for a casual player, it can take like more than a year to get to the next level. It becomes harder and harder. Like if you don't consistently platinum games and like play a lot of games and earn a lot of trophies, you're basically going to sit at the same level for a really long period of time. So they looked at it and said like, you know what, we need more levels. And in my opinion, that's a very cheap way to do it. I really hoped they would add more ways to get that level up. But
well, they said
Such
that's
as?
not. They said that's not it though. They said there's still more to come with PS5. They just said they're just
hopefully,
making
yeah.
this adjustment. Not hopefully.
No.
That's what they said. They said they will be
really?
doing more. Yeah.
okay,
Rafa,
then that's
I don't think I'm friends with you on PSN. I don't know if I am, but everyone else. Matt is last.
I think we are.
With-
Didn't we play
Maybe.
Fall Guys?
What's your?
He's got
friends
two
then?
accounts. It's
He's got a burner and a
I
non-burner.
only gave you one. It's
Which one did you give me?
yeah,
Well, there's
It's,
one where you're Michael as from GTA 5, right?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it? Yes.
So
I've got
I
it.
have both accounts
Yeah.
too. You have one where you're level 76 and one where you're 323.
I'm assuming
Yeah.
the 323 is the better one.
Yeah, that's my main account. The
So
other one-
that doesn't defeat my point then. Matt is bottom with 208.
Yep.
Then it's Keith. Then it's myself. Then it's Mitch. And then I'm not sure who's better, Evan or you, Michael. But Evan's in the 300s.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
Evan's
wouldn't
better
doubt
than
Evan's
mine.
strength.
Like
Evan's
he has the
strength
most,
for the
I think.
platinum.
He has like 3-5 something. But yeah,
Again,
and then
I don't
another
really know
thing
what this
that-
means. It doesn't change my opinion of them at all. I just think it's really
well,
bizarre.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean
Yeah.
anything, does it?
No, I don't. No.
So here's the thing. Here's the quick thing. So I went on PSN profiles, and last night, like one region had the trophy count updated to the new system. The other region, like UK, I guess, had it the old way. So normally you think that the maximum number of levels is 100, as they stated, right? There are people that had, with the old system, had something like 300 and something levels. That's insane. And now that they are being converted to the new system, they have like 1,400 trophy level. and that's insane. They have like 2,000 or 3,000 platinum trophies. Like you can go well beyond that level. It's just that they also introduced like every 100 levels you get a new tier. There are like 3 tiers for each of bronze, silver, and gold. And when you reach, like, for instance, I'm level 323 right now, 323, and that means silver 1. So if in the eventuality you get to level 999, that means you finally get the platinum icon. So
So that's what Evan's working towards, because
Yeah.
he's obsessed with reaching 999
Yeah.
everything.
I hear he's looking
Keith,
into
he's working
quitting
towards
his job.
this. I am the platinum.
Yeah.
A serious question: does anyone actually care about what their trophy level or their gamer score is?
I used
It's
to.
just, I could not care. Honestly,
I think I did on
played-
PlayStation 3.
Um,
I think I cared on PS3, but after that, I kind of didn't bother. I haven't cared this generation.
Is this a manufactured pissing up a wall competition?
Yeah, it is.
No,
I mean,
I don't.
if
Not
you're
at all.
platform agnostic, then you're freed of all this thing, and you can like actually enjoy games. But in my case, I like it because the trophy list actually is like a huge list of most of the games I own. You know, so I
Yeah.
look back at it, and then I recall
played.
games that I have totally forgotten about. And another interesting thing is like unless you open those certain games, you don't get a trophy entry. So there are still plenty of games that I own that I never opened. So that's another thing. But yeah, you look at it, and it's like this huge history log of things you've done. So that's interesting. It's interesting and precious if you've only played on a single platform all these years. So yeah, I wonder how will this make me feel this generation that I'm jumping that when I'll be jumping between two different systems. Hopefully that cures me.
Well, I think originally when Sony came out with this trophy system, I think it was intriguing because, you know, with Xbox, all it is just a gamer score. It's literally just some numbers. It didn't really mean much. You didn't really achieve. It didn't feel like you were achieving something. Where here you actually have, even though it's not a physical thing, it's still you like have silver trophies that are a little bit harder to get. You have gold trophies that are some of the hardest to get. And obviously, you have the ultimate, which is that platinum. And so I think probably earlier in that time, people were really intrigued by that and had motivation to complete some games, which I think it still offers incentive. Like for me, I'm trying to platinum Resident Evil 3 remake because I just, for some reason, I'm so close to that platinum trophy. I really want to get it. And so it does still offer that incentive no matter what to be able to do that. What I think the level bump up offers, and I think it's something that, you know, for someone like you, Mick Womble, it doesn't really matter because you don't care, which is fine, is, you know, the distinction between...
I'll carry on, and then I'd like to issue a clarifying statement about my lack of caring.
Okay. I think the big thing is, you know, that when you're looking at something between how long it takes to get a level up, so like how long it takes to go from level 10 to 11, here, if I wanted to compare myself to Evan, I can really compare myself to Evan because the point differential in regards to the level is going to be a difference of maybe three levels or 4 levels, and it's a much closer gap. So you can
levels.
That's true. That too. Sorry, but you know, but you get what I mean though. Like you can tell when it's a lot closer of like, okay, where are my points coming from that I can actually like level up to beat this person. So if you're in a competition with somebody over like level, you know, that does help in regards to having a clear differential between two players, because on the PlayStation Store you can compare your trophy level. So here it allows to have more competition. No, you can't cut me off.
I'm gonna cut you off.
wanted to say something. Gwamba wanted to say something.
Matt, I'd like you to talk.
I'd like Matt to talk as well.
It doesn't really matter though, because you could have like I could have whatever trophy score versus your trophy score, but we could play entirely different games.
Yeah, exactly.
So like it's irrelevant. It's arbitrary.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
You're still
totally
achieving,
arbitrary.
You're still achieving levels by completing these games. It doesn't matter if you're not completing the same games, and you can compare the same games if you want to.
So
that's what I'm saying. That like,
I mean, regardless, you can do both. It doesn't matter. But if you wanted to, you could compare the same games because it allows you to do so. And it does compare your score based off the same games you've played. So like it does allow for both. So I don't understand the point. It doesn't matter.
I agree with Matt. It's arbitrary. It's the psychological manipulation of people on a platform to either keep playing or play more. When I've got 3 platinum trophies. I don't care that I've only got 3 or 3s that someone else hasn't got any. As long as they're enjoying what they're playing, I'm not fussed. Or if it's funny. And I can say that someone from Essex has got a level of 288, even though he's been playing on PlayStation for a hell of a lot longer than I have. So I'm technically a better gamer than he is because my average numbers of trophies per year is higher. So, but that's all. That's all it boils down to. If people are using it in that way as a trophy pissing up a wall contest, I'm just really not fussed. Whereas if I'm getting the enjoyment out of it and saying, yes, I'm playing this game like Ghost of Tsushima recently, because I really want to get the platinum in that, I'm going to make sure I work to do that. But that's for my enjoyment, not because someone else has got it and I want to get the thing that they've got.
Which I think, which is the mass majority of people.
The interesting,
you know why I like
thing
it.
Sorry, Matt was talking first, Dan.
The interesting thing about the way that Microsoft handles it is there's like leaderboards with all of your friends, and they track, I think, by week and by month. So if you play so much, and a lot of the stuff is tied to Game Pass too. So like if you do so much in Game Pass, or you play certain games in Game Pass, it gives you whatever score or whatever, and then it compares you to your friends, and you can see who's playing more over the month or the week or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So while you've all been talking, I've compared me and Matt's trophies just because I was intrigued.
Because he wants to rip Matt a new one.
My two highlights are the fact I got on Bloodborne and me and Matt are both at 0%, which makes me really happy.
Yeah.
And the other one, which I didn't actually realize Matt played, but actually I would have talked to him about, is the fact that he's got 6% more than me in trophies on Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls, which I do like that game. So that's the one game I didn't know Matt played, and I'm like, oh, he's got quite a lot of trophies, so he must have played quite a lot of the game. So that's quite useful, but how often do I do that? I'm doing it now because we're talking about it. Do I ever do this normally? No, hell no. What's the point?
But even if you you don't use it, Dan, which is fine. But is it nice to have? Sure.
It's definitely a better system than Microsoft's solution of just the gamer scores.
Yeah,
and the leaderboards. I think again, this is it's an interesting way for people to find motivation to maybe continue and finish a game. Also, like when you look at the trophy list, you also find creative ways to play a game because sometimes you have to do something special to earn that achievement. Now you can do that, and you can also do that with the achievement system in Xbox as well, which is totally fine. I think the difference here is the platinum trophy of getting something. Even though it's not physically in your hands, it's still an ultimate achievement of receiving that perfect medal that you get for completing that game. As you would say, completing, you may not actually complete the game, but complete all its trials and tribulations to get there. But like, who cares if you use it or the system of comparing or not? It's good that it's there. It's just a nice thing to have. But again, the whole point of this system was to find a way to motivate people to finish games. And this is a good way to motivate people to finish games. That's all that matters.
2 points that I want to make, like one building up on what Mitch is saying. I'm playing certain games and then I look at the trophy list and like, for instance, you've got multiple systems in a game and you could only be doing the main campaign and then side missions and ignore the rest of the things, but you're looking at all those side activities in a game, and then you look at a trophy list and like, okay, these side activities award a trophy, so that means they are worth doing. At least that's how I'm looking at them. Like whatever doesn't reward a trophy.
Gone really dark.
Sometimes they're not. I agree, McWomble. Sometimes they are pointless. For me, like giant world, open world games, I will never platinum those. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima, I probably could because it's a little more condensed compared to like some other open world games. But like something like Assassin's Creed, I would never try to platinum. But for something like Resident Evil, a little more condensed, yeah, I do it. I did the Sly Cooper series, and that's because it was like more condensed game, you know?
Because with the Ubisoft games, that's a perfect example. Like you can do much more in those games than the trophy list awards. So actually, the trophy list in the case of these games actually helps me decide what I should prioritize in completing in those games, what I should give them my time. And another thing is like, at least I'm now at the age that I don't really care, but I remember that as a teen, and probably that's the case for a lot of teens right now, it's about the credibility. Like when they argue online, you know, like, do you know how do you know what's my gamer score? Do you know how many platinums I have? Because I went on Reddit, and there's a way to connect your either, like, I've seen certain threads that are like Xbox oriented or PlayStation oriented, and there's a way to connect your profiles, and then next to your title you can have all the trophies listed or gamer score, and when you're typing in there and arguing with other people, like, gives you more credibility. So there's like, in that sense, that it's also this social aspect that, of course, at the end of the day doesn't mean much, but for some it does. And another thing, like, because Mitch said that they are going to do more things with it, and I hope that's the case. I think it's brilliant what Ubisoft is doing with, because they also have like certain achievements that award you Uplay points, and every 100 of those lets you discount by 20% your next purchase. So if they find a way to, I don't know, every 10 gold trophies, because those are pretty hard to get. If they find a way to balance the entire system so that it rewards you either discounts or those DLCs that you only get as a PS Plus subscriber in certain games, that's platform, those deals, those platform exclusive DLCs you get in multiple third-party games. If that could be the incentive to get these trophies, and I don't know, like, they could do so many things with them, and I hope that will be the case for it, like, in the future.
Right. So one thing, and then we'll move on from this topic to other news. The phrase that no one has mentioned recently that Michael just mentioned, which is, it's brilliant what Ubisoft is doing right now. Right. So
I'm not getting kicked out.
And on that note, let's go to BugSnax.
Because it wouldn't be an episode of this if we didn't talk about BugSnax. I'm just going to jump back one topic. Matt, so how many trophies, or what's your gamer score in Thronebreaker?
I don't know. I have to log into my Xbox account.
Oh, it takes so much time to do that, huh?
So I'm still at the same place.
You can't just check on your phone,
was.
can't you? Huh?
Well, I guess I probably could, but I'm on my PC right now. I'm not any further than I was before. We can talk about that offline, or we can talk about it on the show if you want.
Well, what's the point of having a show if you don't talk about the Witcher Thronebreaker?
So
again, we're not getting paid by them to have these pictures, but
right?
I want a free copy of Cyberpunk 2077 by trying to get everyone to buy the Witcher Thronebreaker.
Is that a possibility? Can we do that? Can we all get free copies? I don't know. I like the story. I like some of the puzzles. I just don't understand Gwent at all. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I'll do some shit and then like, oh, okay, I understand how this works. And then I'll get into another situation and something else will happen. I'm like, okay, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing.
Burkoff, you know who understands Gwent?
Who?
The people that are like, CG Project Red's the best thing ever. Oh, The Witcher 3 is the best game ever. Like, oh, well, that's the only people that understand Gwent. Besides that, people are like, what the hell? No, I don't want Gwent.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's the difficulty that I'm having with the game. It doesn't make any sense. It seems like every encounter that I get into, I'm like, okay, I have a handle on this. And then I do some shit, and I don't know why I won the match.
As long as you won, doesn't matter.
all that matters. You don't need to know.
So
take the victory and move on. Speaking of moving on, let's talk about the only gameplay reveal this week that was worth anything, because of course it was. It's again not sponsoring us. BugSnax.
We're certainly branded like they're sponsoring us.
Burkoff, you should be playing the BugSnax theme song right now.
I was underwhelmed by the first half hour of gameplay that they showed.
Oh, I love the first, I love the 2.5 minutes of skim through I got through.
They're trying to build a more puzzle-based version of Pokemon Snap is what I took from it. So if there's certain creatures that are easier to catch than others. So the strawberry's currently on the hand of the lady's name that I've forgotten from watching it yesterday.
Betsy or something?
They're really easy to catch. You just put a trap down and you activate the trap when the BugSnax walks past. And then there's other bugs that will come and take your trap and try and fly away with it. And there's other BugSnax that you've got to try and lure towards a trap using certain items. So in the world of BugSnax, ketchup grows on flowers.
And you can launch it like
you launch
your
ketchup
little slingshot.
And then you launch it at bushes, which make the burger BugSnax bounce upside down, which you can then trap it in your trap and then give it to someone to eat. I was from the people who made Octodad, I don't know why I'm going to say I was confused by it. But yeah, I can't see from what the two gameplay snippets that I've seen, one today, one yesterday, this is not going to hold my attention at all.
I agree with you.
Well,
I'm shocked to say that. I agree with you.
You could consume copious amounts of cannabis, and it might entertain
Be
you.
hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, to be truthfully honest, this is for the people that love like Minecraft. Like Minecraft is not my kind of game. I love the theme song of BugSnax. I really love the comedy of BugSnax, but this is not my kind of game. Even though but for the people that do like this kind of stuff, this is their jam. They're gonna love this.
I don't think this is supposed to be for us, if I'm honest.
For my age group, yes.
I would say, no, I'd say it's more for the dad who wants to sit down with the 8 or 9-year-old son and play a game.
I disagree.
Together.
And
I disagree.
For the streamers that want to jump on all this comedy thing that has been has revolved around this game ever since it was first presented at the PlayStation 5 showcase. You know, like it will be just like people will its success most of its success will be because of that. It will be like this weird game that people will buy just to stream, just for the sake of it, just for the laughs, you know, and that's it. I don't know how it will do past that point.
But does it really have to do that well, to be honest? Because it's not really a high budget game, to be honest.
I think it'll get quite a lot of traction. I don't really think that. I think if I was buying a PlayStation, I am buying a PlayStation 5. But if I had children of a certain age,
-2 points.
I would probably buy that. I know, sorry. I would probably buy that game and play it with them. That'd be recognition to a lot of my friends who've got kids of that age, and they're playing little go-kart games on the PlayStation 4. Why don't you try and play this game with your son?
Again, but that was not my point, Daniel. I said I only said or not that it's not going to sell well, but it doesn't have to. That's the point.
No, I wasn't saying that. I was just rebutting your point that you thought it was for your age group.
It will also sell a lot.
Oh, gotcha. I totally think it is. Like my age group is the age of the streamer, and this is the streamer's game. That's exactly what it is.
What's really big on Twitch at the moment? Is it Among Us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is a big
And you know what? BugSnax is going to be huge because it's got a freaking theme song like Pokemon. Like literally, do you know how many streamers are just going to stream the song as they play the game constantly?
As that recording that Matt sent us earlier. That was awesome.
What recording? Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, Jason Page singing the Pokemon
theme song.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. But I if I was a streamer right now trying to think of how would I do this game, I would be on a loop with the BugSnax theme song while I play this.
Well, it's also that I don't think it can it could get really repetitive. Like once you discover all the bugs and all the methods to trap them, I don't think there's any.
And the quest giver said, "Can you catch me 8 of this specific bug in?"
Yeah. It could be just for maybe 2-3 days to stream in a row, and then the streamer will move on to something else. I don't know.
And maybe I would give them a month, maybe. Because it looks like there's quite a variety. There's like legendary BugSnax. Like
I just
I'd give it
worry
a
when
good
it's
month.
coming out. I just worry when it's coming out. There's a lot of other stuff people
And
want to be
also,
streaming. I would
most
think.
successful
Maybe not,
streaming
but-
games like are multiplayer games, are like
Yeah.
have an online component, and this is as single player as it gets. So I don't think there's
Kind of reminds me of Viva Pinata.
yeah.
Mhm.
It doesn't.
There aren't many permutations of what you can do in this game to make it different. Like everyone will stream it at once, and every single viewer will basically see the same thing,
I think
right?
we're discounting.
but,
I think we're discounting all the soccer moms out there. I think there's.
That's what I was
gonna
saying. I think this is going to be a Christmas game. If they've bought a new
Yeah.
console, they're
Yeah.
going to buy it for their kid. That's what I think.
Yeah.
That's what I think it's going to do most of the sales.
Yeah, as I said,
It may have a
I think
second.
it'll be
It may have
successful
staying
in
power
launch.
through Christmas, basically.
I
That's
could
what's
see.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
I could
exactly,
see.
yeah.
I could see somebody like my sister-in-law buying this, specifically for like my youngest niece, and
Yep.
then her being like, "Oh, this isn't a game where I have to kill people. Like I can play this." You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
or
So-
Yeah, you just
you
capture
brought
them
up
and eat them instead.
Well, you brought up a great point, Matt, which is like
and then they become your limbs.
this is. Oh my god.
I didn't say that it wasn't just as absurd. I'm just
Well,
saying.
yeah, but no, but
And
Matt,
then the
Matt,
pulse
you break up,
feature.
you break up you bring up a really good point, which is the kids where this is going to the youngins or the younger youngins, is their favorite streamers are going to stream this game, and then they're going to want it for Christmas, and then
And then it goes back round. in
exactly
circles.
the
So
stain
I
the
think-
stain powers through Christmas for sure.
Mitch, I think you are right. For the streamers, they'll stream it, and then I think it's aged at the younger age group who will watch the streamers play it,
It's-
and then either want to play it themselves or just watch the streamers playing it.
And then
Depends.
your ninja is gonna get his sponsorship for like 1 week to play the game, and he's gonna play it, and that's it. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
like Raph. I don't expect all the major streamers, the ones that do multiplayer,
right.
the ones that do Fortnite, to be playing this game for more than maybe a couple days, but at least like the ones that
still
are like Matt
exposure,
said
yeah.
for the kids. That's the one that's going to be playing it all day long, because what other kids game is out there that they're going to want to see play that's like basically their next I think for
Sackboy
kids.
Adventure?
No, I think for this one, this is the next oh geez, what game came out for Nintendo during the pandemic? I forgot the game. Animal Crossing.
Animal
This is
Crossing.
the this is the Animal Crossing for kids on PlayStation. It's literally what it is.
Yeah, true. And another positive thing about this game, like if these kids, like the PS5 is their first console, like imagine, it's going to be like a great game for them to learn how to use a controller, how to use the camera, like it's going to be like this. This.
Well, it's also out for PS4, so they can get it on their PS4
Is
too.
it? Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's-
yeah.
Yep, it is
on
PS4 and
PS4 as
PS5.
well. Yep.
It's just
Okay,
PS5 next gen exclusive in regards to
Mm.
like console. But yeah, keep going. Sorry, I just want to clarify.
No, that was all. That was
But it'll be hilarious because there is a huge dynamic between do you want to play BugSnax? Do you want to play Miles Morales, a little more adulty, or do you want to play Demon Souls?
Hey, you're forgetting about Sackboy. Don't forget about Sackboy.
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I'm so
sorry.
excited about Sackboy.
Sorry, Sackboy is going to be eaten, and then the person's going to sprout out a body of a Sackboy.
Yeah, have you heard the rumor that there's going to be Sackboy crossover in BugSnax?
That would
Really?
be genius.
I
Actually, 'cause
I
feel
wouldn't be
Tell me more.
surprised.
I just made that one up in like I do all
Love
my
it.
rumors.
Well, I would
Um,
believe it. I would believe it.
Sony,
Um,
you
Well,
can
after the
send a check
Minecraft
to.
guys have turned up in after the Minecraft guys have turned up in
Just
bloody
make it off to
Super
Pixel
Mario Brothers, not
Pints.
Super Mario Brothers, Smash Brothers. Anything's possible, isn't it? There we go.
Just make the checkout to Pixel Pints and then put in the memo Mick Womble's idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Matt will take the money and buy himself a new
PC.
Chromebook. Thieving bastard. All those royalty checks that are meant to be coming my way, you're just stacking them up, aren't you? They're just next to you right now, and you're just looking at them smiling.
I'm waiting for my Bjornfriend. I got a full year of Bjornfriend checks that I need to be cashing in.
Right, so we've snacked on our bugs for a while.
And we're full.
We're all full. We've grown strawberry hands and burger legs, and now we need to dismantle ourselves and go back to normal. and we need to tear ourselves down to build ourselves back up again. So there was the PlayStation official PS5 teardown, and it was a very interesting 5 minutes and a few seconds video, mainly because fuck me, that console's massive.
Yep.
The thing is a honker. That's a honking huge console.
Huge.
Yeah, I think I posted in Discord that Noah could survive biblical floods floating on that thing. It's a hefty piece of machinery.
Yeah.
But I guess the one thing is we don't have to deal with heating issues.
No, so it's quite an interesting.
Which also then the people with their makeshift like cookware memes were kind of correct on that Xbox there. You could cook your steak on that thing.
Well, potentially, based on the nitpicking that people are doing about heat and noise from companies getting their hands on the consoles. But strangely enough, the ones who are kicking shit at Xbox are all somehow affiliated with Sony.
Yep.
So I wonder why they're
make
doing
the
that.
theories a bit flawed.
Yeah, it's quite fascinating watching it. Basically, because I learned no Japanese, I was intrigued whether the PS5 comes with all the tools that you'll need to take it apart and, well, to put it back together. If you're buying your PS5 on an installment plan, you'll need to put it together yourself because they will mail you one piece every month.
At least it comes with a how to build video.
Yeah. I thought it was the main thing I took from it was how easy it would now be to clean compared to the PS4, because all you've got to do is just slide the panels off on the side and get in there with a duster or the compressed air cylinder, just blow all the dust away and then clip the panels back on, which also makes me
guess you're
think,
supposed to vacuum those holes, not push the dust inside with the air compressor. Wouldn't that push it back inside?
it'd just blow it around, wouldn't it?
But then we'll
You could
blow it
probably
out of
blow
the
it
vents.
out,
Yeah, you could blow out the
Blow it
vents
out,
Yeah.
an angle.
because the thing is a giant vent.
Yeah, okay. Then perhaps it works both ways.
I think it's odd how difficult it is to convert it from standing upright to standing
Difficult?
horizontally.
Seriously? I don't
Part
think
of that is because it's very heavy and you want it to like stay in place. You don't want that thing falling off.
See, I don't
Right.
understand that argument, Burkoff, because like, how is
It's
it
the size and the
difficult?
weight.
Well,
How is it difficult?
how-
It's just a stand that you hook on,
Well,
and
no,
then
but
if you
how
screw
they
it on.
how they went
And then you
through
never
it,
touch the console again.
yeah. I mean, I don't understand the difficulty of clipping something on and then hooking
Yeah,
it.
Matt, explain yourself for fuck's
Like,
sake.
and then you
it's
just
just
turn it-
simple. It
you
clips on and it lies on its side, or you
Yeah.
screw a bolt in the bottom and it stands up.
So the
yeah.
PS2, right? It was literally just something you slid in. This thing you have to like unscrew it, and it's got this little compartment for the screws.
Yeah,
that you
but
stick it
how
in.
light
Can I
was
just
that
show you
freaking
something?
PS2?
Yeah. Like the PS2 was like this. I don't know.
Yeah, the PS2 is tiny.
The PS2, someone's seen the size comparison videos
I'm
for all the
gonna show you
PlayStations.
With my PlayStation, if I want to put it on its side, you just do that, kind of.
Yep.
And I don't have to unscrew anything or whatever else.
Yeah, but then you also run the risk of
I think Matt's kind of right when he says
But at the
it takes
same-
some time because you can't just do it straight away.
like I would never hold.
Who cares about like
I would never
adding
keep
an
my
extra
PS4.
10 seconds? Like who
I'm just-
cares
I'm
about
just
10
saying,
seconds
like,
of time?
It
Like,
was
you're-
an inordinate amount of time that they spent in the
No.
video to explain this is how the fuck you do this.
Well, they just wanted to make sure it was abundantly clear. Like I don't see the difference.
I'm actually
Like,
bummed they
'cause
don't
I-
give you screws to
'cause-
screw the stand in place on whatever you're going to place the console to keep it
Is it
tight.
one of these-
because,
Because one of these
even with
things,
that stand, if you place it vertically, you can still have it fall off if you hit it by mistake. So that thing is massive. It's like a
So
small radiator.
Well, because here's the thing. Here's
what Michael is
I
saying.
just want to say one thing really quick.
No, what Michael is saying, I got in there first and I raised my fingers. What Michael is saying is if you bought this from a Swedish furniture store, it would come with the warning saying wall mounting is advised.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, here's the thing that gets me all excited. I'm happy you brought this up, Burkoff, because I think this is a stupid argument in all capacity. But I think it was even more stupid by Microsoft's response to this video by posting a video on how to turn your console, which them is trying to make fun of when they said, you don't do DRM. Let's show you how you share games, which I think is a false. I think they really tried hard on that. And I'm like, that's not the same equivalency of like how serious the situation was.
I didn't know that
Microsoft
responded.
You epically failed.
I don't know why they deleted
why did you do
because
that?
It was
that
funny.
was stupid.
Well, they realized that rather than being funny, it was the epitome of coming off like a tryhard.
Well,
yeah.
And they thought
literally. And I was just flabbergasted they would, one, do that, and then two, think that that's that kind of moment. And it's like, no, there's a huge
I get it now. Like,
it doesn't make a whole lot of sense either, because their console's just as ugly and cumbersome. Like, it's flipping it on the side doesn't make it any less,
It looks ugly when it's flipped on the side. It only looks good facing upwards.
Both the consoles are in a horrible state.
Both of them have their physical
can I just say something?
downturns.
Who decided the form factor? Jesus Christ, they're ugly things.
Both of them, yeah.
Both of them are horrendous. How are they sat in a meeting going, yeah, that looks great. That's everyone's going to be really happy having that in their living room.
And I've said this on Game Face before, but I like the unique shape of the PlayStation. I like going for bold, and that's bold, and I dig it.
Yeah.
I like it's is it ridiculous that I have to have a stand for it? Sure. But at least it comes with the stand.
If I'm honest, I honestly think when they designed it not to have a disk drive, and then all of a sudden was like, oh shit, we need to put a disk drive in, and just shoved it on the side.
I know why they designed
it.
it.
Well, you need it. You need it if you don't have a disk drive, or if you do. Regardless, you need the stand.
No, I know. I'm not talking about the stand. I'm talking about the form factor.
The key.
When it's like digital, when it's like when it's not, when it's like digital only, it actually looks quite sleek. Even though it would be towering, I don't still.
It looks a lot better.
Upright, but still.
I mean, it looks like Seto Kaiba.
All they've done is gone, oh, let's just shove a disk drive in. It's like whoop, like a big tumor.
I will uncover why they designed it that way. Like it's very simple. So the PS5 supports Wi-Fi 6, and when you'll go and spend like $150 on a Wi-Fi 6 router that also like is standing, because those also have like these pretentious designs, they have to like fit together. So you're going to put them side by side, and they are going to be from the same picture.
It was basically them trying to find a way to make your internet hardware look a lot more togetherness with all your other things.
yeah, that was their plan.
Anyway,
but yeah, I'm just so happy Burkoff brought up that point, because I was like, that's such a BS. And then when Microsoft put that thing out, I was like, what are you doing, dumb?
Yeah, Microsoft should have just come out with just world's most powerful console, and then full stop.
Yeah.
Can I say something? Keith, I think you were going to say you think they're going to unclip it like that, so you could change. Were you going to say because you can change the decals on it? Was that you? I
hope you can,
because you're halfway through that point, and then I think Mitch really interrupted you.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know, it's terrible. I'm not Matt. Let's just make that point. So last week I realised I'm not Evan, and this week I've realised I'm not Matt.
See, the only reason I can do that is because I don't have points. I don't have to worry about my points because I don't have any.
I've just lost Evan 2 points. But...
So something Michael's been talking about for a little while about changing whether or not PlayStation are going to sell official branded plates that you can interchange, or whether or not there's companies out there that will make them for you and ship them to you, like that horrible looking Spider-Man Miles Morales one that's available on YouTube at the moment.
I found it. Give me a minute.
So yeah,
I haven't found it then,
because I even asked Matt and Shane, like I placed the question if what would they like to see, like if they were to change those things. So Matt isn't interested, and Shane, like, again, like he said, like he would go for something that would make it look like fit with whatever he has in the house. But I wasn't talking about decals. I was talking about like
The actual
having
plates. Yeah.
Like the actual plates, like having other shapes, like being carved in, like, I don't know, like having a completely other shapes than the wavy one. So
Well, I suppose the way you've got the fan on the side, they'd need to the fan on both sides. They'd have to be careful about how much that was exposed.
So inwards, it has to be
that,
wavy, but then you would have to extrude it on the outside, you know, and there do your artistry and shape it whatever you want.
I think with the design where they've got is just a simple slot and hook. There's pretty much nothing stopping them from saying that if you don't buy an exclusive God of War Ragnarok console, just buy the exclusive God of War Ragnarok PS5 plates, and you can just slide them on.
And
how much would you pay for the plates? That's the question.
I can also see a situation where they have to account for
20,
both
20,
types
30,
of PS5s.
Oh no, it's going to be way more than that.
Do you think so?
Oh yeah, it's going to be more like 50, 60 or 70.
Or do you think you like the special edition for $120 and it would include the decals?
Ooh,
maybe. Yeah.
I kind of like that. We'd be willing to pay that. Oh,
That is hideous. That is hideous.
Yeah, it is.
Why do I want that in my living room?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I in regards to like design wise, I think there's clever things they do with it where like I love that this thing, the spider, is popping out of the actual console. Like there's cool design.
I think that's what Raph was talking about with things being able to pop out of it.
Let's shut up, everyone. Let's let the guy who actually knows what he's talking about when it comes to art speak.
Rafa.
No, I think that looks good. That's a lot of effort was put into it. It doesn't look like some cheap fan-made whatever proof of concept. But of course, like I wouldn't want it because it fits nothing in my house too. I'm not that big of a Spider-Man fan. Like it has to speak to you. That's very niche. So if this guy ever gets his hands on a CAD file, then he could maybe print it and then sell it on Etsy. As Shane said on GameFace, like so many people are going to make Etsy accounts, that people that have a 3D printer or can source have a 3D printer like in their neighborhood and can get stuff for cheap from there, and then I don't know, like you can create a whole business around this.
It would be really interesting to see what it says in the disclaimers when Sony sends out the PS5. So if they do, if there's something that's written in the manual that says only use Sony-related, officially licensed products, because we don't know how much heat that thing kicks out.
Yeah.
And if people are using stuff that's 3D printed, you don't know the quality of the plastic that they're using.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the thermoplastic. Yep.
Because that's also a special type of plastic. It's not something you could just 3D print.
And if
I bet they didn't
a lot of
necessarily
heat, then it could melt that plastic.
So
I want the wood grain ones that will just spontaneously combust.
Combust, yeah.
Speaking of wall mounting, Keith, speaking of wall mounting, I was thinking maybe you could print one of the sides in such a way you can actually hang it
hang it on the wall.
Amazing. I do like Dan's idea that if this is something that they're actually thinking about doing going forward and selling officially kind of Sony licensed PS5 plates that are replaceable, so as opposed to getting a crappy Kratos statue for $129.99, you get the game, you get some DLC skins, you get some in-game items, and you get the special edition plates to go on your PS5.
That would actually, I think that's better than a whole
every
new
collector's edition ever.
Well, yeah, well, no, well, it's better than a whole new console too, because like a lot of the reasons why those have never appealed to me is number one, usually already have a console, right?
Yeah.
And number two, it's like that's that's the only way that it's gonna be. It's only gonna be branded with that single game. It just it doesn't never made sense to me to get one.
So
of those.
I was going to bring up the similar point, but I was going to bring it up on the other side of the table, which is for Sony. This is really good for them because then they don't have to produce all these special edition consoles that may or may not sell.
Yep.
Yeah,
They can just produce plates that may or may not
Decals,
sell at a
Solid
cheaper
plates.
cost, cheaper price, and for them, that's gravy.
yeah.
Like, and then they
if
can
you-
always just, and then the only thing that they will have that's a brand new console would be the Slim Edition or the upgraded edition, like the Pro, if they decide to do another Pro. So like that's the only difference, and then you could just keep replacing the plates, and maybe this will be a staple for Sony going forward in regards to like how they want to do their consoles. Is because and this is all based off the assumption we can change plates, which I think we're all in agreement that we hope that that's a reality because that would be really great.
And even if
We're
they
seeing-
are not thinking about doing that, with all
It
the
could be something they
conversation
can do
around the
later.
internet, they could look into it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the generation, when you're going to have like, I don't know, multiple stacks of them, you can actually repurpose them as roof tiles.
They
But
would let
only-
some water
only
in
if you
because
have-
they're a little wavy.
That's good.
Only if you have the all digital edition, because if you had the disc one, it's got that slot in it, so you
Yeah.
won't be able to use those. You'd only be able to use the top.
Yeah,
plate.
that's the only concern because you're having two versions of the PS5. So for every special edition, whatever they are going to do, to have to do two versions
Different
of
types.
those. of
But
those
again,
games.
that's not
But
as
it's
big of
still
an issue
cheaper,
for
like
them.
Mitch is
It's
saying, still cheaper than doing a whole new console.
One, it's cheaper, and then two, they also will have the statistics of how much percentage they've sold of
Oh,
each
for each
kind
one.
of console.
Yeah.
So then they can just say we'll produce X amount of these
Hopefully
and X
that's
amount of
what it
these. And to be honest, it shows that the disc version
And
is-
actually,
is selling a
if-
lot more. So that's
if they
probably
did-
going to be the one they make more of.
If they did sell well, they'd be clever to underproduce them, so then actually they become more.
You
like,
mean
oh, did you
doing
get hold of them?
Nintendo?
Yeah, there we go.
Pull the amiibo with the
Yep.
with the slots.
Plates.
Plates.
So Taps wants to know
Taps doesn't want to know anything. He should have been on the show.
horizontal or vertical. How do you guys prefer your consoles?
Oh, I'm glad you
Ooh.
said consoles.
I prefer horizontal.
I'll try
Well,
both.
depends on the space. Like what
It
am I?
does everything. I find that certain things fit better horizontally than vertically.
I like aesthetically. I love vertical, but I can never do it, so I always have to do horizontal.
So many euphemisms. Oh
Yeah.
I recently ordered
inside.
I recently ordered a cabinet, so for all my consoles, and depending on what looks best, I'll have to see then. Maybe horizontal or vertical.
I think I'm going horizontal. I think vertical, it's just be like a tower, and where it's going to be under the TV, it's not going to fit. It's going to like block out part of the television. So
With the
it's gonna have
dark
to be horizontal.
lord views the ring, the one ring to rule them.
I mean, I've seen it. I've seen so much in all the promotional materials from Sony standing up that whenever they show it on its side, it kind of looks sad. You know, like this huge piece of tech, like just laying
I'm
there.
sorry, you can't use the word sad and talk about a Sony console because Microsoft
It's
named theirs the
copyrighted by
sad.
Microsoft.
It's
Yeah.
patented. Yeah.
It's copyrighted. You can't do that.
So trying to wrap up this topic and move on to other news. I think what we've all taken from the teardown is that we're all a sucker for aesthetics.
Oh, hell yeah.
And all the technical stuff that was inside the
Don't really
massive
care
heat
about.
sink that means that this thing is so friggin' big. Yeah, whatever. Here's where all the GDDR6 chips got soldered in. Yeah, whatever, mate. Do the plates come off? Can you buy new ones with different designs on?
It's us and our aesthetics.
And that's how they get you with the money.
Yeah.
And it goes
So, ITAPS, you still watching? Does that answer your question? So, preferably horizontal because it's just easier for things to slide on or in.
All
I'll
right.
compose myself briefly.
Now we
Um,
move on to the 10 games you don't get to play on your PlayStation.
Oh,
Games that I probably would have never played anyway.
Yep. No one cares. Next topic.
Next
So-
topic.
Why those games specifically can't work on the PS4? Like, let's ignore
Well, then,
licensing.
It was a developer decision,
Yeah.
and the developers
Right,
thought, "Fuck that, we're not recoding it." There we go.
And you
Line
guys,
Yeah.
drawn.
you guys saw the method in regards to how you have to transfer, correct? Did you guys read that?
No.
No,
Okay,
I just got
so-
to developer decision and thought, yeah, I wouldn't be asked to do that shit.
So
either.
here's the method you have to do. So you basically
And also,
have
well
to,
done, Mitch, for moving on the topics. When I was, who's the host? Not host, facilitator. I'm not a host. I'm a facilitator.
You're
I
just-
don't
And a
moderate.
damn good facilitator you are. Keith.
You are the best warm body in the room, McWomble. So what happens is you go on your PS5. So there's two different methods. So if there's a game that's digitally, you just go to the PlayStation store and you download the PS5 version of that game, and it's automatically on your PlayStation, free of charge. Then there is the disc version, which is you put in your disc. Then you have to go to the PlayStation 5 store through the disc to find the game of the PS5 version and download that version. And then it is accompanied by the disc. So you can only play that game when the PS4 disc is in your PS5. That's all it is. It's literally the method.
So you've just reminded me of something going back to the last one. My favorite bit of the teardown was the disclaimer at the bottom where it said, please don't do this at home. You may expose yourself to laser radiation.
I missed that.
I missed that too.
Because you're mucking around with a Blu-ray drive.
Yeah, the Blu-ray, the radiation. Yeah.
Who's gonna tear it down with it plugged in though?
But you've got to put a disclaimer on because
Yeah.
stupid people in America
Would
will
do.
sue
Do
over
stupid
everything.
shit.
Yeah.
Let's do a PS5 teardown. Oh, I forgot to unplug it.
Radiation.
I forgot to take my Blu-ray.
Why is the
Spider-Man.
ventilator still going?
Maybe the Spider-Man PS5 is going to give you Spider-Man abilities with that radiation.
Yeah.
Come
And you
into
turn into
Blu-ray
a
man.
PS5. No, like that's my story. That's how it all began. I was bitten by a PS5.
the red thing right here contains venom of the spider that with the radiation combination equals Spider-Man.
That
Okay.
one instead of liquid metal has the special venom from the spider on its CPU.
Okay, we're getting stupid now. Let's move on.
All right, let's go back.
Sorry, you were going to explain how you transfer saves, Mitch.
Yeah,
That
that's
was the
also
idea?
a thing.
Oh, I did not read that.
I
I can
thought you
do it.
did. What were you going to tell us?
I can do it.
No, I literally finished. That's literally.
Oh, okay.
And then
I
I was
can
just
tell
gonna,
you
and
about
then
it.
I was just gonna say for the people that said that, Microsoft's the only one that you can play all your last gen games on. It's like this is only 10 games. It's you can play your vast majority of your library from one console to the other, which is what was going to happen in the first place. For people that are going crazy about this, 99% of your lineup is okay. Go ahead.
So
Michael.
about the saves, there are again two ways you can do it. You can either use so you have to for the first method you have to still have both consoles side by side. So if you can only do this way that I'm going to tell you, don't sell your console just yet. So you can do it either by using an LAN cable or
Sorry,
through,
shall I message Liam who's trading in a PlayStation to get a PS5? So do we
No,
need to
there's
tell
a
him to hold
second
off?
method. There's a second method.
He's already
so
sold it, hasn't he?
just let me explain. So you can either do it locally through Wi-Fi or an LAN
LAN.
cable and connect the two and then transfer the saves, or much more easily if you have a PS Plus subscription, or your saves are anyways
Cloud saved.
saved into the cloud,
Oh,
and
man.
then you can download them anytime, anywhere for both the PS4 for the PS4 game if it's in compatibility mode. Like if you're playing the PS4 game on the PS5 and play that in backwards compatible mode, you can access the save. Or if the PS5 SKU allows it, you can do the same thing on the PS5.
basically,
sorry. There's no backwards compatibility mode. It's just if you're playing the game, the save will be there. I think just saying there's a backwards compatibility mode makes it really confusing.
Oh
Thinking
yeah,
you
yeah.
go through
I
another
may have.
menu, through another system. Like you
Yeah.
just put the disc in, and if you have it cloud saved, it'll pull the save in, and you
I
can
meant
start continuing where you left off. If
I meant
for
I
certain,
meant also for the PS5 versions that allow that.
yes,
yeah.
for
So
certain
with
cases.
PlayStation, with cross-gen games, they've left that up to the developer, which I'm thinking makes me think that it's quite complicated if you've got a 4-5 game like that. With
Some developers
which makes me question if you'll be running with that with Microsoft as well, because if they're doing it for PlayStation, I wonder if that's going to be an issue with Microsoft.
I'm not so
as well.
sure because Microsoft,
with the save,
yeah, potentially. But Microsoft have been pushing this strategy for a lot longer, so they've probably been thinking about it and working with developers
how to work it.
for a longer
It's a
period of time.
system level feature, and that's much easier to achieve. Like the developers don't need to do anything on the Xbox platforms. It just works. Like the games talk to each other.
that's making it sound more simple than it really is. Like this
that's
just doesn't just work. Like they are completely different machines, which Xbox and PlayStation are pretty similar. The only difference is their SSDs. So
I think Michael's more thinking about taking saves from an Xbox One X to a Series X in the same way that you're talking about PS4 to PS5, rather than a direct comparison between PlayStation and Xbox.
Okay.
Just for balance, because we're all about balance on here. We've been talking about Sony for the majority of this show, so I just thought we need to say that the Xbox Series X is the most powerful gaming console ever.
And there's $20, cha-ching.
And you can play the Witcher Thronebreaker on both consoles, but you can get it for free on Game Pass, but not PC, not Game Pass Ultimate. It's not on PC Game Pass. It's on Game Pass Ultimate. So that's where Microsoft gets that notch taken back down. Naughty Microsoft.
And also the other news is if you want to cook something.
You want to Series S.
You want to buy an S or an X because that's the thing that you can cook on.
You want to get a really good frying pan. Really good frying pan. Heat it up a bit. Crack an egg. It'll be fun.
I mean, if you've seen kind of funny's thumbnail, it looks like it's a campfire that's coming out of that Xbox. So like you could roast some s'mores on that thing.
Yeah, I think Sony's done a pretty terrible job of allaying people's concerns about backwards compatibility, transferring stuff from your PS4 to PS5. But this statement recently, I'm surprised that they've not made more fanfare out of it. It was just a press statement.
Because I think they don't care, which is fine. Because I think vast majority of people don't care about anything past. Hold on. I didn't finish my statement. Vast majority of gamers don't care going back behind PS4, and they're just saying, hey, you can play your PS4 stuff. That's all they're trying to say.
What I would say, Mitch, is I would say that I think it was silly of them to release it after all the fanfare that happened and all the backlash about backwards compatibility, which there has been. They should have released even a 5-minute trailer just to say and talk about this, because I think people like to watch that. I think all of us are in the gaming news, but literally this buzz at school these are the kids who are going to be convincing parents to buy them consoles, is they want to buy an Xbox because of backwards compatibility. And I'll go into school on Monday and tell them that actually it's PlayStation back compatible. But they didn't know that, and they're not on the same sites to see that information. I don't think and I think that's important. And I think they missed an opportunity there.
But maybe I get that, but at the same time, I think honestly they see the sales right now and they're like, we're winning, doesn't matter. Like 70% of even though it's the first round and everything's already sold out. But a vast majority in the United States, at least, are buying PlayStation. So they're like, let's just keep the course. Why not? Let's not.
Arrogance isn't an excuse for incompetence.
No, agreed.
No, and I said I agree with you, but I think this is what they're thinking in their mindset, is that why don't rock the boat? Don't say something that is going to go off wrong by accident when you could just keep the course and just stay with.
But all you'd have to do is say a 2 or 3 minute YouTube video just to say.
That's what I was thinking.
But everyone
All of
else
your
is doing it for them, so why does it matter? Like literally Kind of Funny covered it. Every news, every podcaster, every Twitch streamer already tells them this information. So why do they need to make a video about it? They don't need to. They came out with a statement, and everyone is going to eat it up and talk about it, and there gets out to the vast majority of people. I mean, yeah, it's great if they make a video. I agree with you guys. I prefer them to like come out with their own fun statements like that. But this method doesn't. The method doesn't, effectiveness wise, doesn't change anything.
I would argue that
I believe
not everyone who's going to buy a PlayStation 5 or a Xbox Series whatever, Series SSX tricky.
I believe
It's going to follow all of the gaming news and listen to gaming podcasts and pick up all of that.
They're going to listen to their gamer friends 6 months from now when they say, "What do you buy?" And they say, "Well, PlayStation seems to be doing well. Why don't you just buy the PlayStation?"
By that point, it's too late, and we've seen this with the transition from Xbox 360 players like myself to PlayStation 4, because the messaging at the time.
But there was a huge difference at that time.
And then, so people swapped over. So it's Sony marketing people saying, "Oh, we'll just put out a press statement."
I thought
and
lazy marketing.
Let everyone do it for ourselves. It does seem a bit like it's just sort of offhand, rather than saying, "Actually, people, this is really important to us. You've seen the video of a guy taking the PS5 apart, but we're not going to tell you that you can play 99% of all your PS4 games on it."
But you just
I think it's lazy marketing.
Now you're just being disingenuous, though. You're saying they didn't say anything and they did.
No, but
I'm not saying
marketing.
I'm not saying
did it a different way.
That's
it's
not
lazy marketing. It's lazy marketing. It's lazy marketing. It is.
The only argument to make one, and I'll totally let you interrupt. It's really quick. That just the only counter thing to like make one, what you were saying was the difference between the 360 and then going into the Xbox One is DRM is a huge issue. Backwards compatibility is not that big. Microsoft is making it more of a bigger issue than it really is.
I'm making it an analogy of bad messaging.
but it's not the same compared to
what I would say is
Rob gets to talk.
That's why it's an analogy.
Can I just say one thing first? What I say is that it's been the constant thread from Sony in the last few weeks of just putting out these random press statements, and whereas Microsoft have been front and center and etc. actually being clear with their like messaging.
They've been doing press statements too. What's the difference?
Well,
the only difference. Yep, go ahead.
Here's how I see it. So Microsoft can actually like let's just talk about backwards compatibility, right? So on this front, Microsoft can come out and say like we've no extra details.
Equivocation.
All games from past generations will work. Sony's not doing that
except for what's those
Kinect games.
Kinect
whatever.
Games.
That's like
there's an exception.
They have enough clout to say that
to
out
say
loud,
equivocally,
right?
pretty much. Yep.
Now, Sony cannot do the same thing because, like, for every single feature that they have, there's a small but that follows. So that's going to damage them. What they've done instead, they've been really, really silent. That when they were to post all these discrete PlayStation blogs, everyone would pay maximum attention to them, and there will be detail. Because I think if they were to like yell all these details like up front, that would put them like in a very difficult position, because people would naturally go into freak out, like why don't these games also work? Like why these details are not there as well? Like what's going on? So they've been really, really quiet about it, just so that they don't damage their brand. Because for the most part, like these systems are pretty on par, right? Like Sony has like the PS5. I'll be honest, like has a few minuses. It's not perfect, but
it doesn't have enough flops, I heard.
Yeah, right. But I think that's the best way to advertise certain features when you are not really in a position to go guns blazing and talk about them. So I think that was the right approach to do it.
And Ralph, you're bringing up a great point, which is, what does Sony have that Microsoft doesn't? It's the games.
First party games.
And so that's why they use the videos to show off the games, because that's the thing that people care about, and that's the thing that they're going to get the most buzz about.
This is the thing that I'm finding confusing. And then let's move on, because Matt might want to say something about the next topic. You'll show a roughly 5-minute video of someone taking apart a PS5, but you won't do anything other than issue a press statement to say that the thing that was concerning a lot of people, PS4 owners, is you can bring your library of games with you. I don't understand.
I'm sorry, McWan, but they already stated that that's going to already happen. They said it in GDC 6-7 months ago. So
GDC didn't happen. GDC was a virtual conference that people were watching Mark Cerny talking about things that they didn't understand.
But that was his first statements, was that backwards compatibility, that you would play a vast. But he said in the very beginning.
Watched it.
But he said in the
beginning.
No one
fucking watched it.
It doesn't matter. People talked about it. And in the beginning, he still.
Blog, and then everyone talked about it in all the podcasts.
But whoa. You guys are all missing the point here. Literally, in the beginning of his statement, he did say a vast majority of your library will be transferable from PS4 to PS5 Plus.
But he said the vast majority. And the vast majority puts doubt in people's minds.
And now
that statement,
especially for a company, that has eliminated, especially for a company that has eliminated backwards compatibility successively, as they've made more iterations of their consoles. Right. So for somebody who is the president to come out and say a majority. Yeah, and people are like, well, what does it matter? I'm probably going to lose that in the next iteration of the console.
But then they come out with this statement now to say 99% of your catalog
will.
So
right, that's the thing.
And that's going to be fine. That's going to be fine until the firmware update comes out, and then you can't play those fucking games anymore.
No, that's not true.
Matt, who have you been talking to?
I'm going off of past experience.
He's been meeting with Phil Spencer to get that Microsoft money.
I think he's just been burnt many times by PlayStation, if I'm honest.
Trust me. Like, here's my example. When I bought my PlayStation 3,
Not dressed like a Sith Lord, I won't.
When I bought my PS3, I specifically bought the backwards compatible one. And when my PlayStation got stolen when I was in high school from my sister's ex-boyfriend, who apparently was a con in 3 states, stole my PlayStation 3, they didn't make them anymore. I was pissed.
Yeah.
Oh, I get you. I totally get you.
Yeah, I mean, I bought mine from a secondhand store.
And now I have a PlayStation 2, and that thing doesn't really work as well with the TVs.
I think,
but I'm getting to the point. But getting to the point is that they've calmed all that, and I think the vast difference is right now, Phil Spencer is very much on TV constantly, and I think the dynamic. Yeah. And I think the dynamic difference is that, Phil Spencer's out there in your face, and Sony is, just like kind of just hanging back. And it's a very different look between the two. And I think people like to have a face to look at to say, this is the brand, which Phil Spencer is the brand, though he should have been fired years ago, still is the brand. And, but Sony doesn't have that guy yet. And I think they need to find somebody, because I think that will help. I think that would help in the end.
Man, I miss Kevin Butler.
Done.
And I think that's all we were saying.
Mic drop.
We needed someone to just make that point in a 2-minute statement.
Yep. I'm fine with that, but I'm also fine with the statement. Statement's fine. It brings enough coverage for me,
you, but not worldwide.
Right. So talking about faces being front and center, we need to talk about the apple-headed evil bad guy, and point and laugh at Epic Games, who lost their suit against Apple to reinstate Fortnite on the Apple Store. The good thing, though, is the judge ruled in favor of Epic in terms of Apple being forced to allow Unreal Engine made games and other products on the App Store. Screw you, Epic. You knew what you were getting into. Is there anything more to say on that?
I have one really kind of.
You're trying to find the Apple head.
So that was it.
I'm
Is it
trying to
done?
find an image. Hold
No,
on.
they're still going. I think there'll be a counter suit. I'm sure.
Oh, here
It'll
we
go
go.
on for months.
It's the antitrust legislation which was debated recently in Congress, where lots of congressmen didn't know what the fuck they were talking about again. Think differently. But is it don't intentionally break contractual clauses and then say, "Oh, we did it for the little guy."
Especially when you're making millions, hundreds of millions, and billions of dollars from this game already in profits. It's not like they're not making any money because of this Apple deal. Let's just be abundantly clear. This is ridiculous. Like, I understand their contract. I get it might not be as fair, but it's not like you're the one that's struggling. Like, that's ridiculous.
And you're getting all the royalties paid to you by all the other people who are licensing Unreal Engine from you to then put their games on the App Store anyway. So I think any suit that Epic brought against Apple for taking Fortnite off the App Store was just absolutely bonkers. They should have just said, "Look, we're really sorry. We thought we'd chance our arm and subvert your payment model, and it didn't work. It backfired royally. We'll take the slap on the wrist. We'll pay you the money that you owed because it's already been sitting in our bank account. We've already earned more interest than we actually need to pay you anyway. So we'll just give you the money, and then we'll carry on happily ever after." But no, they just need to drag this shit out.
I don't really understand fully why they moved forward. I can kind of get the argument that Tim Sweeney was making about, doing this for the future. Because once you have these companies fully manipulating the stores and basically saying, whatever we say goes, it's very easy to just, "Oh, I don't like this company. They're not going to make any money. They're not going to sell on the platform," or, whatever. So I think the whole idea was to try and set a precedent so that in the future.
No, the whole idea was for Epic Games to make even more money than the billions that
They sued Google
making.
too, and that didn't get any press. And Google's like, "Yeah, we're working with them. We're gonna negotiate this with Epic and find out what is a."
Speaking of that, we found with the next firmware update on Android 12, I'm hearing they are going to
112. Holy shit.
The possibility of actually using other stores other than the Play Store, so you can get your apps from third-party stores, which I think that's good. I don't know.
I mean,
Microsoft doing
market
something
is
to
fine.
bypass. Microsoft doing something to bypass the Apple Store.
Yeah, so they're
on
gonna
iOS.
make the Game Pass app available in browser.
xCloud?
In a browser, yeah.
Oh wow!
So
Yeah,
you'll be able to load like Chrome or whatever on your Apple device and then launch xCloud through that.
That's what Amazon is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
but that's
really complicated.
that's fine because that's not breaking agreed terms and conditions.
No, agreed.
This is the bit that I'm finding really difficult to get my head around. Is it why Epic are suing for
Apple.
them breaking terms and conditions when they could have just found a workaround?
Yep.
Or they could just not agree to those terms and conditions. They have a bunch of lawyers. They can look at the contract and go, "Let's negotiate." Like there's plenty they could have done. If this Berkoff, if this was the little guy, if this was like someone that is like a developer that is being like, "Hey, we cannot make ends meet right now with the amount of money that Apple is taking from our game." In regards to the sales that we're making on this platform,
I think it's stupid.
Then I'd be like, great.
If I were Epic, I would just take off my game from the Apple Store and say, "You know what, Apple? I'm just not gonna put my product on. On your store."
And to be truthfully honest, that would be more powerful and actually hurt Apple. Because you know what?
I
Kids
think
would
so.
complain because they're like, oh, I got an iPhone. Oh, I can't play Fortnite now. Oh, I got an iPad. Oh, I can't play Fortnite now. Do you know how much that's going to change someone's purchasing power? That's going to make them buy a Samsung phone. That's going to make them buy a Google phone. That's going to make them buy Pixel tablets. That's going to make them buy all that kind of stuff.
But they also like have an audience so big that they also that audience may turn against them.
Not if they put a statement out and say, hey, this is Apple's fault. And
No,
you know what? They will believe
they tried
them.
that.
What you could do is then if you're
but
Samsung,
they didn't take it off
go,
the store. They didn't take it off the
they didn't.
store. If they took
Apple
off the
took it
store and
down.
said it was Apple's fault, then they would get that back up for sure. Sorry, Daniel.
Come to Samsung and play Fortnite.
No, literally, that's
nice
an
and
ad.
easy.
That's a great
there's
ad.
Samsung going, thanks, Epic, you just sold me a whole lot more handsets.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Like, no, that is literally an advertisement for all the other companies to go, you want to play Fortnite? Come buy a Pixel phone. You want to play Fortnite? Come buy a Samsung phone.
I think part of it, though, is Tim Sweeney going, hey, we are in a financial position to do this suit. And if we win, we set precedent. So why not? You know, I don't know
But
that
they
it was
were never going to
necessarily...
win that suit.
They're never
ever.
going to win, ever.
So
Never.
all they've done
I
now is,
don't.
okay.
I don't.
So
I don't know
you've
what
highlighted the
lawyers
issue.
were whispering in his ear. Maybe somebody told him that they did have a good chance. I don't know.
Well, that person shouldn't have a
Strange.
job right now.
Should be fired.
Probably has been fired, to be fair.
Or they're playing a long game,
Yeah.
which is if we bring this now, we've raised the topic of antitrust.
That too.
And that gets debated in Congress, and then we can convince Congress people to actually understand antitrust in the modern world and what that means in a digital marketplace. Because antitrust legislation was written decades ago and just been updated, and it doesn't really. It's like the monopolies and mergers legislation in this country, as far as I understand it, not being a contract lawyer.
Right.
But I don't understand the motivation. They could have done what we all agree would have been a better option, which is just, sorry, everyone, we're pulling our games from this platform because we don't like the terms and conditions under which we're forced to operate.
Yeah, and then quietly have a lobbyist start drafting legislation.
Exactly.
You know,
not do this with a glossy ad campaign and rendered video footage taking the piss out of Apple from the Mac.
Right.
But then they would have had to pull it off the Play Store as well, because Google, again, takes a percentage of that. And
but that's the difference.
It's not a big of a percentage, though. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Apple takes a way bigger chunk. Apple takes a way bigger chunk.
I thought it was the same.
No.
And,
well, the problem
also
is the transaction
phone saturation
itself.
on.
Right.
It's the
'Cause
You need to
transaction
look at the saturation.
it's in transaction in store that I'm more upset about.
Yeah.
That they were taking a cut of their in-store transactions when actually Apple
And
no-
Google
really,
doesn't
in
do
their
that.
eyes, have no business with that.
Right.
Yeah.
But then they signed that contract, so fuck you.
Yeah, it's true. No, it's true. You're right. You're right.
Here I said, and here I said,
they haven't got a
and
leg to
Google.
stand on because you're right. They broke their contract, so they should have just walked away.
Here I said, and Google understands, and all of a sudden my Google phone goes, sorry, I cannot compute with that request. Can we move on to the final topic?
Yep, go for it.
It's a final
Do we have a final?
Countdown.
The
Oh,
epic
yeah,
fail.
Oh, yes.
The epic fail. And people said this game was good.
I was very positive on this game from the beta they had, like, because I said, like, mechanically I think it's very fun, and I gave them the trust that they would actually keep updating this.
That was your big mistake. You gave them trust.
Rafa,
And
did you buy the game?
no, I didn't get
So
to.
there we go.
Well,
so
there
the
you
bet
go.
wasn't
I
that
didn't get to
impressive.
that
Then.
part. I was like, okay, I'll be waiting for more heroes to be in this, but it seems they're going to take their sweet time updating this game, and like, no.
It took them over a month for one update. Over a month.
I mean, that's the pace of it, but
What
in
the
the same
hell was
time,
that?
it's so lackluster. Like, in 2 weeks, I could be done with it. I could have seen everything the game has to offer. Like, in 2 weeks, I could be done with it. So
It's almost as if
not
Square
fun to
Enix
replay.
saw all the bad practice or real money earning recurrent user spending practices from every other game and thought, let's put all of them into this one because this has got Marvel attached. and I'm so glad this has fallen flat on its fucking ass.
Well,
also
they got the Transformers license and they built a GoBots game.
Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing. Like, it's like, I really hope this shows that they will never make a Destiny clone ever fucking again. Because this is Destiny with a Marvel skin. Literally, the menus look exactly the same. All the upgrading is the same. Like, it's just, please do not make a game look like this ever frickin' again.
I still don't want this game to fail, although it might have already failed. But I hope I really hope they have a meeting and say, like, we need to pivot, we need to turn this into free to play, we need to tone down all those events, countdowns, whatever, like make it a little bit more focused. And I think that will do the game a lot of good. But right now, no one is going to pay like even $30. It's like it's devoid of any soul. Like they need to figure something out, because so much work has been put into this. Personally, like I can see it. Like it's not a shoddy game. It's just the content. The content was overlooked. Was badly put together. It like after a point it really doesn't feel rewarding. So they need to look at that.
But Michael, one thing you're missing is that people had to take time away from building content to make sure that the 4 different storefronts all worked really well.
Yep.
So I think you're giving people a bit of a disservice right there.
Yeah, and I think the other big thing is, like, you look at this game and you know what? There's another game that was like, let's restart. Let's take a break. I haven't heard from that game in almost a year. What's that game? Oh yeah, it's Anthem. You know what? Like,
again,
no,
another. Like,
it doesn't matter. It shows that it's an epic fail, and it's not going to be able to come back. Even something like Anthem will not be able to come back from this. And so Marvel's Avengers is not going to be able to come back from this, unfortunately. And you know why? Because I think, honestly, this game looks like it was made in 2.5 years with 7 years of development, because they couldn't figure out what they wanted this game to be. And then when they decided what this game was going to be, all of a sudden the trend changed, and this is not the trend anymore.
Yeah,
this is not how you make games as a service anymore.
I think it's a calamity of factors, because it's the aesthetic, which is horrible. It should look like a comic book, number one, because then you can dig into the back catalog of Marvel and do all kinds of different things with that.
Oh, but they do. Don't you see the comics come with the comic is with the costume, so you see where it comes from? Like,
no, but I mean, like
the one they showed in game looks nothing like the Iron Man they showed.
The aesthetic is like it's a rip off of the movies, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, it is.
And
100%.
yeah, on top of that, the whole looter shooter thing has pretty much died out.
What I would say is you can't. They should have walked away from the movie aesthetic as soon as they weren't going to use the movie actors as the voice actors.
Yeah,
like as soon as they weren't having the movie characters. If they weren't going to have the movie characters as the voice actors, why the hell are you making it try and look like the films? Because the minute you look like someone and go, but that's not his voice, and that completely chucks you out of the. That's ridiculous.
I wonder though, is
it's going to come out at the same time as the movie. That's when they should have said no.
Yeah.
Like when they knew they couldn't make that kind of like window, then hell no, don't do that.
This seems like it's the build the game by design mechanic. It's like
it's build the game around the looter shooter, not build the game around the game.
Yeah, no, let's not make they were coming at the game development from the wrong standpoint.
They just said let's make a looter shooter, not let's make a Marvel game.
Let's make a really great Marvel game.
I want to bring up a point and see if you guys agree. Is this as big as a disaster as Battlefront? Which one was it? 1 or 2 that where Disney actually had to step in?
It was Battlefront 2. That was the pay to win stuff.
Yeah,
that was the loot boxes. This isn't as bad as that. You haven't got Marvel as a parent company. Well, Marvel is the IP rights holder, and Disney is the parent company stepping in saying,
Okay.
Square
Okay.
Enix, what the fuck are you doing?
They probably are
you're
already
messing
doing
with
that
our-
internally. They're not just doing it.
Yeah.
They're just not going to do it externally. Because honestly, like they might have stepped in. They might have stepped in if it wasn't a pandemic year where they're like, we have to worry about when is Black Widow going to be coming out? When is Soul going to come out? Like they have their
Well,
own issues
they've
on
already
their own
decided about
front.
Soul. It's coming free on Disney Plus on Christmas Day.
Yeah, because Wonder Woman comes out in theaters on Christmas Day. Because Disney's
Oh, does
Disney.
it? Cool.
Oh, yeah.
I'll go and watch that Boxing Day then.
Well, so here's the thing. Like if you don't,
won't be going
if,
to Cineworld.
if you think that Disney is this nice company, oh, you're in for a tailspin if you look at their movies. But anyways, digress. But
No, no,
anyways, I think
one thing I've learned about Disney is they really, 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 really love money.
yeah, they're
Yeah, of course it
monsters. They are freaking monsters. Like the reason
Oh,
why they
yeah.
put Soul on Christmas Day is because they want to screw over Wonder Woman. Literally, that's exactly why they put it there.
And they realized they didn't make.
And is that happening-
Mulan,
is that
so now
happening-
making it free.
Is that happening again this year with Black Widow? Or
No, Black
no.
Widow's
Black
next
Widow's
year.
got pushed to next year.
oh,
But
Okay,
Wonder
now we
Woman,
got
but
pushed.
Wonder Woman is coming in theaters on Christmas Day, and now
And
Warner
Soul's
Brothers
coming-
and Soul is coming out Christmas Day free on Disney Plus.
okay,
So
okay,
all of
okay.
a sudden, what do you want to go? You want to go to the theater and see Wonder Woman, or do you want to watch Soul with the family on Christmas Day free on Disney Plus? So basically, now Wonder Woman now Warner Brothers is shaky about that, and they might release Wonder Woman on Thanksgiving now is the talk, and then they will release it also on PVOD at the exact same time. So
So
that
that's
people that
going to
don't
be
wanna go.
free, but Mulan costs $30 or
Yeah, so basically they realized that the Mulan strategy was a complete.
Oh, Mulan was a
bust.
disaster.
So, but that was a few reasons.
They would have
political
been.
reasons and
They
stuff,
would have
as
been
well
more
as
successful releasing it on YouTube for $20.
Oh,
yeah.
for sure. The price point
Probably,
was
yeah.
half the issue, but the other portion is the other talk is maybe that they will put Wonder Woman on HBO Max instead, which is a big. They don't want to do that, but they might
But
do that just to crush Disney. But
on
anyway,
a- But on a side note, I do think that actually Disney, if you think about it, Mulan's going to be free on the 2nd of December. You've got Soul coming out on the 25th. You've got what's it called?
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian coming out end of this month. So there's a lot of people that are going to sign up for 3 months who may have not had their subscription.
And you've got
so-
quite possibly what could be one of the most interesting TV shows
WandaVision.
in general. WandaVision.
which
I'm
starts
really
the
looking forward to
WandaVision,
that.
which
yeah.
starts the multi-universe, which Doctor Strange will be in the new Spider-Man movie next year,
Yep.
which will lead into the Doctor Strange madness, which also they
Yep.
confirmed that that Electro from Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man will be in this Spider-Man. Like that, there's going to be a saga of multi-universe for about 3 to 4 movies, and then it will go into Secret Invasion. So, anyways, if you want Marvel news, I got it for you.
So
We've digressed
this
massively.
goes to show how much we give a shit about Square Enix, Marvel's The
Yeah.
Avengers, because we spent the last 3.5, maybe 5 minutes talking about movies.
To be truthfully
one-
honest, though, I may go back on YouTube and watch the cinematics of this game to see how good it is, because I don't want to play the game, so I'm just gonna watch the cinematics.
Another good thing I can say about the game, but that's not going to save it, is that you can actually if you upgrade all the characters and unlock all their moves, you can do some really sick combos that are all about skill. And again, it's not some overlooked combat put inside a game without any depth or anything. That's why it hurts so much that at least for me, that this game is not doing better, because it's mechanically it's very good. It's very
I've heard-
But you know what's a shame is it's advertised horribly. And
Yeah,
it was advertised horribly to the point where it looked like punchy combat, not in-depth
true.
combat.
Someone should just
Get
take
fired.
all these players that are currently playing it right now. You just look up on YouTube, this guy doing all those sick shield combos with Captain America.
I've seen some of
That's
them.
insane.
I'm a big believer in the phrase "fix the problem, not the blame." So, we've said twice that someone who's given some bad advice should get fired, rather than let's focus on right. So how does Square Enix fix this? Is the issue that I've got about the combat? I've seen some of those videos, and it is all kind of timing based. It's more like you've got the real in-depth stuff that you could put in an Evo tournament in this game, but you need to grind through all this bullshit to be able to unlock all of the moves to be able to do it. So why can't you just build in like a normal leveling system?
Plus, no real challenging enemies to really challenge that combat.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You're doing those moves on henchman number 4.
Grunts.
Like, who the fuck cares?
Most of it is where you see the kind of high level combat stuff is in the challenge rooms. So who wants to grind through all the fucking challenge rooms? Come on. There's only going to be a fraction.
But
going back to what we were talking about in terms of trophies, is it how? So game developers are saying not very many people finish our games. Well, if they actually broke down, it's like how many people want to play the story element? Probably 100% of people who buy Marvel's The Avengers will want to play the story element. Slightly less of those people will want to play the online mission element, and even less of those people are going to want to do the challenge rooms, which is basically the danger room from X-Men, over and over again to level up your gear. So why are you not focusing most of your attention on the biggest element of people who are once going to play it? It seems as though they've focused most of their attention on the smallest element of the game that people are going to be interested in, and say, here's where all the depth is, but you've got to go through all of the rest of the stuff to get to this little bit. And this is probably going to be the least interesting thing to you because you're interested in the story. Well, and that's where I'm going to draw the line.
The only reason why we say someone should get fired is because then in that person leaving, someone else comes in and can come up with real solutions for the problem. Because clearly they caused
the problem. It depends how far up the organization they are.
Yeah, it also, that's true. It also depends if the person making the decisions isn't the one who gets fired. He fires the person who implements it.
Yeah,
from his decision.
That's why I made the comment there, because I think people...
Well, last thing, PvP. If they find a way to put PvP in this and like beat Black Widow with Captain America with all those shield combos.
Doing the interesting things. If someone could... If you weren't as good, is there a way that they could buff you? So if you were going up against someone who was absolutely insane at the game, but you were playing as Taskmaster.
Yeah, I don't know.
So for those of you who don't understand the comics that much,
Capcom. We'd like to make another fighting game.
Yeah,
but I guess here's the thing. You said, McWumble, what's the solution? And I think that's a really, really good question that we all should try to answer. Is like, what would you do? Like, what you have this giant turd right now. How do you
polish it up?
How you polish it up? Like, and you can go first, McWumble. How do you fix this?
I would get rid of I'd get rid of the challenge room element, or make it less, because I believe, because I've not played it, played the full version.
If I hear this right, McWall, you're going to get rid of an entire type of what's the word I'm looking for? Entire mode from a game. That's your solution? Because the game's already out. Like, how do you fix it now? It's out. What do you do to it?
People have done that in the past. Because I've not played the full version of the game, I would take the amount of experience you get from playing that section and apply that to the story missions rather than the other way around. And I don't know how the leveling and the XP working and all that kind of stuff, and if they've got boosters and all of the other shit that they've seen from other games. That's the thing that I change. I'd say take all of the ideas from all of the other games that you looked at, so Destiny, the Division, Borderlands, throw all of that at a wall and say, why do people want to play a kick-ass Marvel game? Because they want to play as their superheroes and focus on that content rather than the repetitive stuff that they've put in, so that you can grind gear to then go back and play the online elements. So build more into the story.
If it was pre-release, I have a different answer.
No,
it's already out there in the wilderness. I've got just 3 words. I think it's 3 words.
It's a game as a service, so it doesn't matter because it's always ongoing.
Free to play.
That's the entire point.
Free to play. Make it free to play. Make it free to play, and people. If it was free to play, I'd download it now and give it 10 minutes.
People
of my
would
life.
not complain if
Yeah,
this
that's
was.
So, and then actually the microtransactions, you'd make your money. I hate microtransactions.
Yeah.
But that's at this point, if it's doing so badly selling, you
You
make
would
it free to
find,
play,
like,
and you get your revenue through
Daniel,
microtransactions.
with that, do you
The
do
whales
do,
would
do,
come
do,
if this was free to play and would finance the development of this game and would make your profit. People would be more would have a much more positive impression about this game if it was free to play.
No, I agree with you all. I would first make it free to play, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I also would change up the microtransactions a little bit and the leveling a little bit just to make it a
Yeah,
little
but
more.
condense everything. Like, make it more
Keith
simple.
said. What Keith said about changing the
I would
mechanics
also
of
I
leveling.
also would get rid of the stores and just do one centralized area for one store, so you don't have to go to
Yeah.
7
To be
stores.
fair, Mitch, I haven't actually played the game, so I don't actually know the mechanics. All I just know at this point, if it's flopped, make it free to play, and you might end up making.
And then I would take all the focus from those DLC characters, and they better have like a 10-hour story, like beef up those
someone who's
DLCs.
played it,
Or you do the Apex Legends model, and if people play enough, you get enough coins to unlock the characters for free. But if you don't, you can pay and get the new characters if you make it free to play, and there's your revenue stream.
Yeah.
one of the
Apex
problems.
Legends is a really good game that no one wants to play with me anymore.
You never asked me, McWomble.
To be fair, Wombo, I'd probably jump in again for a few games. I'm kind of bored of Warzone now, and I've never got time to play it.
You might not say that once I show you the exploit to level up so much more quickly.
I don't
do.
start my new job for another almost 2 weeks.
Have you been playing much?
9 hours behind.
My training
Are
got
we
pushed
gonna
by
call
one
it?
more week.
Yeah, I think we should call it.
Yeah.
Matt, do you have any thoughts being the host
Marvel
of a
Man.
comic book related podcast,
There was a game.
and then take us out?
Yeah, there was a game back in the late '90s called X-Men: Children of the Atom. It was a fighting game
Fucking
that
brilliant game.
that Capcom made,
Yeah.
where it looked like the fucking comic book, and you got to pick your character and play your character. And yes, that's what they should
That's
do.
what you want.
Hold on. Before you go out, I'll show the image of it so people know what it looks like.
Another great game. There was X-Men Legends,
Legends
the
was good.
isometric
Yeah,
one. That was a good game.
Oh wow!
And
I'm looking at it.
and on
here
that
it is.
note,
No, here it is.
yeah, it looks like the freaking comic book. That's
Yeah.
that's what you do.
Yeah.
That's what you do
No,
with Marvel's
it looks
Avengers.
like the TV show from the 90s.
Yeah, yeah.
Same difference.
It's literally the
difference.
TV show from the 90s.
Same difference. And on that note, we're out.
Yeah.
Have you been playing much?
Yeah. We'll have to get on Squad List. Yeah.
I'm playing. It might completely crash and burn for about 2 hours from about 7 p.m. my time. So